Hello, welcome back to Weekend Movie Bros, where I'm, of course, Jacob is here.
And I'm RZ Jones 18, and you really need to work on your 3-2-1 thing. It's at the one you stop talking.
What do you mean?
It goes 3, 2.
No, I just count down 3, 2, 1, then we start.
Okay,
We
anyway.
both have different ways to do this. Either way, we're here with podcast number 3. Technically, this is podcast number 1 billion, but for you, it's podcast number 3. You guys
For
enjoy?
us, it's podcast 22.
I don't know. It's a number, though. It's been a while. We've been doing it for quite some time. Either way, we're
Which
here.
is crazy to think about.
It is really crazy to think about. What are we talking about today, Zachary?
Well, we have our top 10 best films of 2019 so far, since we're in the middle of May.
Which is, we are not in the middle of June. Yeah.
We're in the middle of June, my bad. We also have a Dr. Sleep trailer to talk about, which I am personally excited to talk about. And we might get into some movie-related E3 stuff, because I know everybody wants to talk about that great Avengers trailer that dropped at E3.
Yeah, well, it's not confirmed or not. It matters after we get done doing E3 will be the last subject matter that we'll cover tonight. And that's, of course, if we get to it, because talking about movies and describing why can sometimes take a long time, and E3 is mostly a video game thing, but I feel like the two things that we will be talking about, if we do get to it, are movie-related enough that they relevant a spot here on the podcast. Alright.
So, I feel as though we should just start with the list and move our way down.
That's fine. We can start with the list, top 10, top worst, and then Dr. Sleep, and yeah, that works. Alright, so who wants to start?
We'll do...
Sorry, I was going to explain how the list works, because we have a certain way that we're doing it. So the list works is that we have top 10 best movies so far of the year, and the number 1 is the number 1 spot. Like, that's the number 1 movie to beat going forward for the rest of the year. All the 9 other ones are just kind of on there. We're going to recommend them if you've not seen them or anything like that. If we've done any movie reviews for them, the only one that I know we've done a movie review, I'll try to link it, because like it's super easy to link. But and then the top 4 worst movies are top 3 for Zachary. I have a 4th one because I remembered it right at the end. It will also, number 1 is the worst movie you've seen so far this year. The other ones are disappointing or whatever they go by. Sorry. Now you can talk.
Yeah. So I figured that you would go first, and what we'll do our 10 through 6. We'll discuss our 10 through 6, and then we'll do our 5 through 4, 5 through 2, and then we'll do a number 1 together.
Okay. So I go first?
So you'll do your 10 through 6, and then I'll go my 10 through 6, and then you'll do your 5 through 4. I'll do my 5 through 4. You 5 through 2, and then you'll do your 1. I'll do my 1. So you'll go first.
All right. In no particular order, I'm just gonna start from the bottom up. These are movies that I remembered of, like, oh, I really liked that one, I want to talk about it. The first movie we're gonna talk about is a book-to-movie adaptation that I saw, and you probably know what I'm talking about. And then, of course, after, it is actually was gonna be one of my worst movies I saw this year, but I saw a total of 5 times, so I figured it should make the list of it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Either you want to see it or you don't want to see it. It's quite artsy, and it's not as graphic as us fans hope, and so we're hoping the sequel, which did get greenlit at Cannes, we're hoping the sequel is a lot more sexier, as it should be. And rated R. Come on, people. Make the movie rated R. Sorry. There's a weed line in here that is just so annoying, and it makes me cringe every time I hear it. I'm just like, seriously, just say weed. Why can't you just say weed? And they don't, and it's just annoying. Sorry. Moving on. Number 9 is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Now, I have a hard problem with the 3rd act of this movie, and partially the beginning of the movie, but the middle of the movie was so funny and so good, and the fucking Pikachu is so freaking cute that honestly I just can't wait to watch it over and over again. I highly recommend it if you've never seen it. I would wait until it goes on digital. Number 8 is Aladdin, because come on, it's Aladdin. If you've not seen Aladdin yet, what are you doing watching our podcast? Take a break, go see Aladdin, come back, because that's how amazing it is. Number 7 is Captain Marvel, which you can stream now, so totally go ahead and stream that. It's a beautiful movie. And number 6 is Unicorn Store, which also has Brie Larson. That's not intentional at all. Unicorn Store is probably going to be in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, or of this year, because it's such a beautiful movie. It means so much to my particular heart. That's my top.
That's your 10 through 6?
Yeah, 10 through 6.
Okay, so my number 10 is Alita Battle Angel.
I was gonna add.
I think visually the film is stunning, but what it has in visual lacks in story. And it is just another generic superhero film with a sequel set up ready at the end. That's what I think about Alita. Number 9 is about a elephant that can fly. I had a blast watching certain characters in this movie. However, Michael Keaton stood out like a fucking pole, and it really bothered me, and that is Dumbo. Number 8 is the Detective Pikachu film. I will only remember this movie because of the Pikachu and the moments in the theater that we had. Otherwise, I thought it was a dull. It just didn't work for me. Number 7 is M. Night Shyamalan's continuation of Glass. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I thought the middle of the film was probably the best part because you got into that psychiatric moments of each character. And James McAvoy once again is going to get understudied at the Oscars for his performance in this movie. Whether you like the movie or not, he is fantastic in all 21 roles that he does in the movie. And number 6 is How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I have grown up with this series. The first standing ovation I ever had in the film was How I Train Your Dragon 2, and I thought it was a fitting end to this series of films. And I like the fact there's not going to be a fourth one. They are definitive with it. So let's discuss our 10 through 6.
You mean our
So I saw
5 through 2? Oh, discuss them
no,
back to back.
yeah, we'll take a break and we'll discuss our 10 through 6 each. Because I saw the face you gave me when I put Glass on my list. Why?
So I don't know, like it's Glass. Like I hated it. Okay, I thought it was trash. Well,
Don't
okay,
worry.
I should be more specific
So
here. I only saw parts of it because it was so bad that I just like I didn't want to bring myself to actually watch it.
here's the thing. So the 3 worst movies I've seen this year are my 10 through 8 on my list. Because I had a great time watching all 3 of them, but does not take away the fact that I think all 3 are terrible movies.
We're not
And
the worst
Glass is
movies
number
yet.
1.
We're not the
I
worst
know,
movies yet. We're not.
but James McAvoy's performance saves that movie for me. Uh, let's see. Through yours, I think um, I think Aladdin's too low on your list,
Well,
personally.
well, I mean, technically, what I was thinking when I did make my list, I did not put them in any direct order. The only one that I knew was number one, and so there is no order to
Mhm.
this because, for instance, like Aladdin and Unicorn Store and stuff would be higher up, whereas the higher up numbers
Gotcha,
are really not actually my higher up numbers per se.
gotcha.
Hmm.
Oh, I did have an honorable mention for my list that didn't make it, and that's Batman versus TMNT. It didn't make the list.
I wonder why. Oh, I think I maybe found a number 5.
Oh, really?
So I won't talk about it, but it sucked. Spoiler.
Go watch my review.
It will be up very soon. I promise. I'm a shitty person. It's fine. It's
All right,
fine.
so now you'll do your 5 through 2.
Okay, my 5 through 2. Like I said, there is no particular order to this, as most of my higher ups would be lower downs. I mean, if we're being honest, if I was doing a true list here, most of my numbers that are kind of low would be higher up. I did it backwards, okay? I did it by when I saw them, not by, when they actually mean a lot to me. So number 5 is Isn't Romantic, which is a rom-com that stars Rebel Wilson. Came out in February. Most people probably saw it on Netflix as it debuted on Netflix for most of it. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was exactly what I needed after crying for 12 hours. And you know what? That's what I needed. After a good cry was a good laugh. And this movie is super funny. I highly recommend you stream it. It's definitely a good streaming movie, and it's more like a date movie, so wait until you can have a significant other. Or if you're forever single like me, you can watch it by yourself and eat some popcorn. Well, I had candy because I can't have popcorn, but either way, you know what I mean. Number 4 is the flying elephant himself. Even with the horrible, well, I wouldn't say horrible, even with the questionable things that they did change in this movie, the flying scene when he flies for the first time, this is Dumbo, by the way, is so gonna have such a big meaning in my heart, like, going forward for, like, all movies, that I just can't not put it on the list. Number 3 is Shazam, because come on, it's Shazam. I didn't think this movie was amazing, personally, but it was really, really funny, and Zachary Levi did an amazing job, even though I think Asher Angel is definitely the standout person here. I didn't actually really like the guy, Brian, is it Brian? Oh, what is his name? What is his name? The little kid from It. I can't think of his name. Geezer, something like that. He was not my favorite in the movie.
Uh,
Yeah, I know. It's 3 names. Oh, that's all I know. I couldn't tell you what it is. Either way, he was not my favorite. I thought he was really whiny, kind of annoying. Felt like he needed to grow up a little, personally, but, you know, that's me. Number 2 is Us, because even though it was very wrong in many ways, it was also very good in other ways. The third act was really, really weak, and I really do think Jordan Peele needs to work on his storytelling, and I think the next movie, his third outing, should be better, if not, you know, really good.
alrighty. Interesting. Very interesting. Number 5, if for me, is the Reign of the Supermen. I love this iteration of DC animated stuff, and the death and the reign of Superman go so well together. And the reign of the Superman has my favorite Lois Lane performance of any Superman film, and I just that's a great animated feature. Great time watching at home.
Do you,
Number 4 is Captain Marvel. Huh?
I was asking if you knew who played her, who was the voice actress.
Oh, I will look it up and let you know.
Okay.
Um, Captain Marvel's my number 4. I saw it 3 times in the theater.
Beat
I have
me.
not watched it yet here at home. Um, but it's a really good Marvel movie. It's not the best Marvel film, but it's a good Marvel movie. Uh, Number 3 is what I think is the best DC. Oh,
Sorry,
you okay?
I'm gonna say Rebecca Romaine is the one who voiced her in Reign of Superman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's also, if anybody wants to get nostalgia here, is Mystique from the X Men.
I think we all know that, Zachary, but
Um,
okay.
but number 3 is what I think is the best DC live action film to date, and that is Shazam. I had such a blast with this movie, from the entrance to Doctor Nirvana in the meeting room. Beautifully done. I think the Shazam family is awesome, and I don't care what you said. The commodity between Asher Angel and his stepbrother is the best thing about the movie. I think they work great well together. And we are opposite. Where you think Billy is a standout, I think Shazam was a standout. Zachary Levi did a fantastic job. But number two is my big one, because I didn't think it'd make it this high on the list. Because I hated everything about this movie, absolutely everything. Aladdin.
You should be
Um,
more specific that you hate everything
it
leading up to the movie.
Yes, I've hated like with you with Toy Story 4. I've hated everything about the ad campaign for this movie, and it blew me away. It has my favorite intro of any film this year with Arabian Nights. It's and Will Smith. I judged him way too quick just by the color of his skin, that being blue.
Bad joke.
He
Really bad joke.
Yeah. But no, he was him and Naomi Scott were the standouts of Aladdin, and so that's my number two.
Okay. Do you want to start by talking about my list, or do you want to start talking about your list?
Yours first.
Go right ahead.
Um, I thought you liked Shazam.
I didn't hate the movie.
Because you were the one that kept telling me to go see it.
Yeah, but you're Zachary. So.
But the one thing I'll take away from Shazam is their god awful Superman cameo and their post
No.
credit scene for.
Yep, no spoilers. No
What?
spoilers.
For a
No,
movie it's almost 3 months
I
old.
don't care. No spoilers. It's not fair to anybody. Who knows? Someone who never knew Shazam came out. What, do you live on a rock? But hey, maybe you did. So we don't want to blame you for living in a bomb shelter. You know, it's also Jack Dylan Grazer, by the way. That's the name that we keep forgetting. Jack Dylan Grazer, sorry. This is bothering the fuck out of me. Is that it?
Yeah, anything on mine?
No, I think yours was. I mean, I don't know. We talk a lot about movies and different things like that. I mean, I knew mostly about going into yours, and all of ours, our number ones are probably the same. So.
But Reign of the Superman I saw back in January, and the fact that it's still on the list kind of boggles my mind. It's such a well done animated film.
So
So
I say we count
if
down
what
from
I'm gonna
5.
laugh my ass off when they're not the same. I'm gonna laugh my ass
Well,
off when they're not the same.
we're gonna do it anyways. We're gonna count down from 5, and we're gonna say what we believe the number 1 movie of the year is so far this year. It's gonna take a lot to beat it, but I do think there's a few contenders coming up later on this year that could beat it. But it's gonna be a tough race. All right, 5, 4,
5, 4,
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1. Avengers
Avengers
Endgame.
Endgame. Yeah, very true. Avengers Endgame.
I mean, what else is there to say? They just made a fucking music video for the song Portals. I mean, what's left to say about this movie? There's not much left to say.
Excuse me for a second as I go to YouTube real fast.
Yeah, it's for Portal. It's for the song when a certain thing happens in this movie. And if you tell me, oh, go ahead and spoil Endgame, I'm gonna be mad at you.
Oh my gosh. That is.
Yeah.
What is his life? Do not Google it though. If you've not seen Endgame, you live under a rock. It's
Don't.
fine. Just not really a Google worthy moment
If you're
for you.
one of the 2.78 billion people that has not seen Endgame, then yeah, don't look up a music video.
Such as Mom and Tim. Yeah, no, not for you.
I mean, what left is there to say about
I don't really
Avengers?
think, especially since we're using non-spoiler talk with Avengers Endgame, we can't really talk about why Avengers Endgame is so good without talking about why Avengers Endgame was so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, it's just a good movie.
So, with the list that we have right now, what movie do you think has this shot to beat Avengers for you?
Like, coming up?
For the rest, up to, let's say, August. For the rest of the summer, what do you think has a chance to do it?
You have to give me a minute. I'm not entirely sure. I think Once Upon a Hollywood.
I have 2. Correction, I have 3.
Hold on. Here, you say yours while I look at a list so I can get my head around an idea.
There's a good chance that Lion King might top it for me.
Nope.
I highly doubt it. But there's a good chance. Toy Story and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know I'm not putting Spider-Man on there for one simple reason, because it's a continuation of Avengers, so therefore I really don't count it to top it. It's just going to go right with it. It's hard for an MCU film to top an MCU film. So, but if I had to guess, of the 3, I think Toy Story 4 has got the better shot of the three to top it for me. I really do.
Due to heart and emotional feelings. So I have two. Um,
No,
I have two that I think could be contenders. One of them, I'll be really mad if it does. Honestly, I'd probably put it at number 2 anyways, because that's how mad I'll be if I think it's better than Avengers Endgame. I don't care. He was cute when I was younger. It's just what it is. So we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I am looking forward to. I think it's going to be really good. Um, really rave reviews and different things like that. It's going to take time. And also, Fast and Furious, the spinoff, Hobbs and Shaw. That's the one I'll put at number 2. It will never get the spot, but I could enjoy myself more seeing that than I did Avengers Endgame. It is a very possible
I
chance.
highly
Fast and
doubt it.
Furious has a very strong place in my heart. Jason Statham has a very strong place in my heart, and the trailers are very strong. But who knows?
There's a certain character, there's a certain actor in that film that might take that away from you.
Like I said, it will never beat it. Technically, Avengers Endgame would be number 1 in that list, but I won't lie. It could be like a 1.75, maybe a 2, possibly a 2. Not like, you know what I mean?
So what's the other one?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, that's my best bet.
If that movie sucks,
Who knows? I don't know. I've not liked his last few. I won't lie. This one just has a lot more writing on it. There's a lot more characters and things that I like in it. That I think, this one's really hard to make me not enjoy it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'd come out of the theater like really hating it if I didn't enjoy it. Even like slightly enjoy it, I'll be like, that's pretty great. So, do you want to move on to worst?
So for every best film we have on our list, there are some sinkers this year so far, and they need to be discussed too. So with
Oh,
you having the
yes.
bigger list of the two of us, you can just say your entire list, and I'll get to mine because mine's weird.
Alright, well, technically, I guess we'll talk about 5. Zachary has 3. I always like to beat him, And also, I see a lot more movies than most people humanly do, which is true. So, the 5 we're going to start with, we'll start from the bottom to the top. Honestly, I really do think this probably goes in the correct order, which is weird, since the other list did not. Number 5 is going to be Velvet Buzzsaw. Now, the reason why it is number 5 on the list, this is a Netflix original starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
Ah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
oh,
The reason why it is number 5 is because I watched about an hour and 40 minutes of the hour and 56-minute runtime. I personally did not care for the last 10 minutes, and I did not feel like fast-forwarding to figuring out what happened. So I didn't. So I can't exactly put it higher, because I didn't technically finish it, but I watched enough to tell you that it sucks. Does that make sense? Psychologically?
fair.
There, I thought so. The next one's going to be Stephanie, which is an indie film that came out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's about this little girl who gets left at home. It's about abandonment issues. Literally, that's the only premise of this movie, is this girl was abandoned and crazy shit happened. But guess what? It's not that shocking. The visuals are okay. They're not great. When they do happen, it's kind of scary, but it's also like not scary, like at all. It's quite boring. And it was a very weak horror film at that, and it did not push any boundaries. Speaking of weak horror films that push 0 boundaries, and we're about to get to one that puts way too many boundaries. It's such a weird line here. And one undercrossed it, and one went so far above it that it's just like wrong. Number 2 is going to be The Prodigy, which was a horror film that came out earlier this year about a character. The premise itself, I'm not going to tell you about, as they did not promote it in the trailer, which I'm really happy about, as it was really shocking to see, particularly in the theater. And so if you do end up seeing it, I don't want to spoil what this is about. It is not your typical possession film, and that's why I'm going to keep it kind of a secret. But if you're going in for a hardcore, hard, scary kid, blah, blah, blah movie, you're going to be sadly disappointed, and I highly recommend looking at spoilers. And also, the ending was so bad, and I mean truly, one of the worst endings I've seen in years, that, like, I can't recommend a bad movie with a horrible, shitty ending.
Now, can I guess your number one real quick?
Oh, sure. What's
It involves something we've talked about already
controversy?
that
Yeah.
might be it. that might be Avengers. That be the Sharon Tate movie, right?
Yeah, so the movie that I'm talking about is a movie that I honestly really didn't want to talk about, but I do need to talk about because I don't want to bring any light to this movie, and that is nothing to say against the actors and actresses that perform in this movie. They don't do a great job. I love one of the actors who plays in this movie. She should not have made it. She should not have produced it, but I still love her TV show. So like ultimately, it is what it is, and that's The Haunting of Sharon Tate. This is like the fifth Charles Manson movie I've seen in the past like 6 months. So booyah, I guess. And this
Manson Mania. No, no.
this is
Okay.
extremely offensive. It was wrong, it was exploitive, and it was inappropriate. The acting was terrible, the sound effects were horrible, the CGI blood was cringeworthy. Everything about this movie, creatively, not creatively, like the script, whoever said, hey, what's a good idea? Let's go out by this one line about how she says she's a ghost, and that's a movie. Yeah, no, honey, that's not a movie. It's disrespectful. So, don't go see it. Don't watch it. Watch a certain called, oh my god, I can't think of her name. Just look up Haunting of Sharon Tate. You'll find her. Watch her review because it's really funny, and her whole story behind her review, it's perfect. So, yeah, it's shit. It's actually like the worst movie.
Okay. So I I ran into something with this. So usually by this point, I've seen like my Batman Ninja or something along the lines of I just don't give two shits. That hasn't happened yet,
That's
shockingly
good.
enough. But I have three films that are just not good.
Or disappointing.
Uh, disappointing, yes. So number three is Detective Pikachu. I just, it's not good. I think I expected way too much out of this Pokemon movie, and it sucks because the visual style of this film is beautiful, and I cannot wait for the sequel to come out and be a true Pokemon film. However, when your film is a paint by numbers mystery and you can easily tell what's happening, it's just bad to me.
We were both kind of
I,
shocked.
I couldn't get behind a Deadpool wearing Pikachu. It's just what it is. Uh,
Can
number two, huh?
I say something? You know that you
Sure.
cannot use the least three numbers of your top 10 as your worst films.
But it's the truth though. I
But
can't
but
find anything except these
well,
three.
then you would text me and you'd be like, "Hey, I only have 10 good movies and I have my three worst movies. That's fine. I had five. You had like, you know what I mean? Like the list don't have to be 10 even, you know?
I know it's just, but these three really did bother me. My number one especially
Yeah.
because I hate films like my so number two I don't even really want to talk about. It's just it was good at parts but boring and it was Dumbo. But number one really bothers me still, and that's Alita. I really haven't talked to you about Alita since I saw it with you, and since um you know Cameron decided to work apparently effortlessly on this film to get it made, and I feel like it didn't show at all. He got a great performance out of Rose Salazar as Alita, but the people around her could care less of the film that they were in. I honestly thought could care less. Everybody. He went for style over substance because this movie could have been very dark with some of the themes it brought up, and instead it went for from very cheesy uh, stuff. Now let's take in mind that there's a shocking moment in this film that I'll never forget, and it involves Jennifer Connelly's character towards the end. It took me by surprise and was not expecting it. But um, the whole getting a very acclaimed actor to be the surprise villain for the film to set up a sequel, I thought was a bunch of bullshit. Um, the whole thing about Alita in the comics and in the manga was watching her go through the races to get ready to go fight up in the other world, and they intentionally do a montage through it at the end just to get her into her costume from the comic, which really bothered me. And the last 30 minutes of that movie is just a glorified setup, and I hate that when when films do that. I hate it. Now I can't say that really because I my favorite film of 2018 is a glorified setup film from beginning to end for a movie that came out this year,
And you can't
and
exactly say that
that's
either.
Infinity War.
You can't exactly say that either, because the end of Endgame is a glorified setup for the next phase coming.
I don't think so. I don't think Endgame is a glorified ending. I think Endgame is an end. It's the end of a 22 film saga. It didn't set up anything to me at
It
all.
did. It set up a lot of things. We had a long conversation about. I can link you to that video. It's over 2 hours long. I promise you.
But it's still the but that's not what I mean. I mean of how we went and saw Infinity War getting ready for Endgame, and whereas with Alita, I know we're not going to get a sequel.
No,
I just know we're
it
not.
panned. It
So we're stuck with an ambiguous ending to a villain and an actor that we're never going to see. Whereas they could have ended it on a very strong note with her, fighting for her father, fighting for herself, standing up for what she wants, and then leading into whatever they want to do, and they could have just left it alone. But instead, they had to set up the villain taking off the mask and saying, "Ooh, I'm here
hey, hey,
now,"
hey, hey,
and
hey, hey, hey,
film.
hey, once again, spoilers, Zachary. We do not talk about spoilers. I mean, it's the worst movies. Come on. I guess maybe we should. It's okay.
It shouldn't bother that much. If we didn't like it, then it should be okay to talk about that way.
No,
I won't do it with Pikachu because Pikachu's still recent.
I mean, Elite. I think anything that came out this year is recent. I think anything that came out years before, like I say, Batman Ninja. You just saw it this year. I feel like talking spoilers, Batman Ninja is relatively okay. You know what I mean? Like this year,
I guess
I feel like there's still people who could come across it. So I don't know.
it's just
He's a spoiler
I
fiend,
love
guys.
the I loved the lead up before the ending.
In
The ending really killed that movie.
which we really talked about when you first saw it. When you saw it, opening night, we talked about it, and you're like, hey, just prepare yourself. The last 30 minutes are not too great, and I ended up actually enjoying the last 30 minutes quite a bit. And
Hmm.
I thought they were quite well done, and I didn't really care if I didn't get a sequel or not, as I was satisfied with the ending that we did get.
I was satisfied with the ending we got before they tried to set up a sequel. It was after that point is when I didn't care.
See, even with them trying to set up a sequel, I didn't like. Okay, that's okay. I don't know. You want to talk about Doctor Sleep?
Yeah, we'll talk for a quick second. I like the trailer.
Yeah, this is coming from a
Now,
man who does
here's
not
some.
like horror.
No. This is coming from a man who's never seen The Shining.
See, that doesn't count. Sorry, it
I haven't.
doesn't. I know, but you can't compare. See, I don't like it when we watch trailers and you're like, oh, I've never seen the first one. You need to see the first one before you can watch the sequel. Like, it's just common
That's not
knowledge.
true.
Yes, it is. Especially Stanley Kubrick's The
When when I
Shining.
when I when I watch the trailer for Doctor Sleep, it doesn't look like I.
You do.
Now that I know it's setting up stuff for The Shining, then I know I need to go see it. But going into it, I didn't think I would. I thought it'd be its own thing. Leave me alone.
Shame. Shame. He does this with TV shows. Like, it's bad. He has a problem. We need to start, like, an AA meeting or something. Except this not finishing things meeting.
So so why didn't you like the trailer?
I didn't like it for the simple reason about it's mostly about the fact that I read The Shining, the book, I watched the movie, I didn't like either of them personally. As I'm saying, watch it. Some people like it, some people hate it. It is what it is. The book was a very dry fest book. I didn't really like it. And the same thing goes for the sequel, Doctor Sleep, had a very interesting premise, but I don't think Stephen King knew what to do with said premise for most of the novel. The ending is pretty good. I think they closed out pretty nicely and stuff like that, and it's kind of shocking in Stephen King style. But the trailer itself for a movie that I'm not really looking forward to, that is so like it's so a mixture between awards fair and not awards fair that I'm not really sure
I can see that.
where I'm not really sure where to put it, like in a category.
Mm-hmm.
Because they
How do you
wanna.
feel about the November release?
I think the November release works just fine. That's what I mean. That's why I don't really know how to categorize it very much. But then when Grace was talking about, Grace is somebody who's on YouTube, beyond trailer, she's amazing. Go watch her, go watch Collider. Those are normally where we get the most movie news from, if not from other news sources on the internet. But when she was talking about trailer reaction, she was talking about the lineup for horror and for dark movies for Warner Brothers from September, October, and November. And it's crazy. It's amazing. It's chapter 2 in September. October we have Joker, and then Doctor Sleep in November. It's like a perfect lineup. Like, how can you fail with that? You know, and like you don't really think about it until you put it in perspective. And so maybe that's the reason why it's November.
Yeah, but we really can't judge the. Well, first off, the three of them are separate films altogether,
Well, I mean,
and
horror qualities.
I don't count Joker as a horror
Oh, horror.
movie.
Yeah, I do. But also, I count Joker as maybe an awards fair because of the performances and the way it's directed and things like that. It almost reminds me of something that they're trying to promote to become an awards fair movie. Like something, hey, we're going to put it in October. It's not exactly awards fair, but hey, if you want to put me on the ballot, go ahead and put me on the ballot. You know what I mean?
I think
Whereas,
of the three, I think Joker's more awards contenderish than the other two.
well, yeah, and that's what really threw me off was that Stanley Kubrick's The Shining was so specific on what they needed to do, what they wanted to do. And this one, the director who I love, Mike Flanagan, is an amazing director. He's directed some of my favorite horror films. The Haunting on Hill House is an amazing series on Netflix. Highly recommend it. It's pretty scary. Don't recommend it to you, but I highly recommend it to most people. And
Okay.
it's very, very good. And he's an excellent director. He directs the whole thing, you know? And I just think maybe he let me down a little. It's not so much like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I was let down. I
So let
wanted.
me ask you something then. Let me ask you something then. As a person who does not like the book or the film of The Shining, what were you hoping to get out of this trailer for Sleep
Well, I was hoping to enjoy. I liked the
from
actor.
that point?
I was hoping for something interesting, something like, for instance, Rebecca Ferguson plays a very interesting, intriguing role. Um, that I can't wait to see on the big
She looks
screen.
awesome.
And she looks like she's doing. She was my favorite part of the whole trailer. Was Rebecca Ferguson. I don't know. Not my favorite.
Yeah, her. It's a small moment in the trailer, but when she shows up, you just get chills.
Yeah,
And
like
it was the way she did her line.
she's bringing her A game, and you can tell. And I mean, everybody is. That's not what I mean. Like, I mean, everybody else. Ian McGregor's doing like an excellent job as well. He just didn't pop like I wanted him to pop, and like I don't know.
Mm.
I expected more, and they did not. See, so when I did my trailer reaction, which is not going up because it was a bad trailer reaction, I didn't like how it turned out at the end. But when I did do my initial trailer reaction for it, I talked about how there's two levels to Warner Bros. Media horror films. We had Pet Cemetery over here, which should be my worst movies. It probably will be at the end of the year. I totally forgot about it till like right now as we talked about it. But Pet Cemetery and It, you know? And I think this is going more towards Pet Cemetery remake than It Chapter 1. And possibly, It Chapter 2 kind of feels a little Pet Cemetery as well. But again, that's only going off a teaser trailer, so I can't
So do
really
you?
judge.
Right. So do you think Warner Brothers is having trouble finding like that perfect middle with their Stephen King stuff,
Yeah, and we had a conversation about this a
or do you
while
feel
back. Continue.
or do you feel like It Chapter 1 was like their one in the chamber that they shot perfectly, and it's hard to get the other 6 shots off.
Well, see, we can't really judge that because It Chapter 1 is a part 1 of a 2-part thing, and so ultimately, even if Chapter 2 is not amazing, or would say it does suck, would say it is really bad or whatever like that, we still have that, I still have the thought of, like, it will. If It Chapter 2 is bad, it will tarnish my view of the original. Like, It Chapter 1 it's not, it's a 2-part story. You have to have both parts. It was a beginning, it was an excellent beginning, but the ending sucks, then I'm not going to like the beginning anymore because it ruins it. You know, it's not as amazing. And, so, I don't know. They've had a lot of misfires with Stephen King, and Stephen King's really hard to sell. I mean, you've had a few amazing ones out there, such as the original Pet Sematary and the original Shining, you know, The Shining itself. It the original It, you know, these signature ones that they're trying to bring back because they're signatures. And I think they should just start trying to venture out into all his other content because he has so much other content out there that they can do that has not been done before. But
Well, I know they're doing the vampire one, aren't they?
yeah, Vampire one was already turned to television like 4 years ago.
Right, but it hasn't been done to film, so this is
Well, I mean, I'm tired.
it's the virgin version of the film.
All I'm trying to say is I'm tired of remakes. He has over 60 books. Go pick one that has not been made. 12 of those are
That's
dark.
fair.
12 of those do go to Dark Tower. I get that. And so leave those alone until like 10 years from now and then try to do Dark Tower again. Personally, my thing is do it as a TV show, a streaming show. I think it'll do much better over
Don't do
there.
Dark Tower as a film.
It was just it's not made for
I
it's made for television, not film.
of all Stephen King's things, and you know this, I love the Dark Tower. I think the books are fantastic. The graphic novel versions of Dark Tower are fantastic. That movie is shit.
It's really bad.
Just leave Dark Tower alone for right now. McConaughey and Elba, unfortunately, just nailed that one into a hole.
There's a lot wrong with it.
So, do you want to discuss this whole Avengers thing from E3, or is that a whole discussion on its own?
I feel like it's I feel like until we get more further details, I think it's a pending thing. When we get closer to the release date of next year, I feel like we should circle back around and talk about it again. We'll get another trailer by then, you know, whole 9 yards. We'll get more information about it. This is an initial first look, you know.
How are you feeling about it? Just without talking about it, how are you feeling about it?
I really like the initial first look. I'm used to the way Square Enix does their designs, and I'm okay with the. I'm not okay. Okay, I take that back. I'm not okay with the voice acting, and with something else that we were going to talk about Keanu Reeves being a part of Cyberpunk. Why didn't they pay the money to try to get the original actors come in and play them? They didn't have to do the motion
Because
capture.
I guarantee you, RDJ, Chris Evans, Hemsworth, they would have all done it. Mark Ruffalo has been flown in motion capture now by this point with the Hulk.
And I mean,
He
they
would have
don't
done
have
so
to.
well with it.
They don't have to do the motion capture. They could have just done the voices. They could have ran the lines. That'll take what 4 weeks out of their life. Like I don't think they were ever offered the role. I don't think this was ever a thought for
And
them. So that's a
now,
little
do you
annoying.
think they didn't do that because? Well, do you think they didn't do that because they didn't want to not give it to the voice actors who are professionally trained and they're professionally trained?
And that's my thing. That's what we were going to talk about the whole Keanu Reeves thing. With Keanu Reeves making a huge splash in video games and doing all the motion capture and doing everything, going full throttle. Most actors won't do that. Most actors, maybe more actors will, and maybe video games will start paying them top money to do it. And that's
To
really
do it?
alarming for people who come in like Troy Baker and I can't think of no one
Nolan
North
North.
and all these people who are veterans at doing these video games and do an amazing job. It's not like they've thrown in their performance. They've been doing it for years
No, they
and
never do.
years, and they will start losing work, and it's sad.
I mean, I mean, for God's sakes, two of the people on this cast are both from Naughty Dog, with respective games at Naughty Dog that are almost as reputable as film.
And that's what I mean.
And
So I don't
it
know.
just what bothers me more about the casting that they did is why didn't they realize before they started shooting that, oh, Nolan North should do the Hulk and Troy Baker should do Tony Stark. It fits more with that angle.
And like I said, we can't really
I don't like
judge.
the way Nolan sounds as Tony.
See, I think personally we can't judge voice work on 4 minutes. This video game is going to be hours and hours long. I mean, probably 20, maybe
I know,
25 hours. And so you play 25 hours with these characters, you're going to eventually fall in love with these characters, or you're going to hate it. It's
but that's also that's also my problem is that we know it's an ever going multiplayer game. It's not a single player
oh
game.
wait, what? I did not heard this.
It's yeah, it's they're going off the Anthem Destiny kind of vibe where it's a continuous online multiplayer game. And the story that they're showing us is a just continuous story, and that's why they said during their E3 showing that they'll be revealing new characters that'll be downloadable and new regions that you can go to. But I think my issue with this so far is continuing on with the movie narrative. Look at Spider-Man from last year. Spider-Man is a narrative story from beginning to end. Nothing more, nothing less. It is a film that you play. And that's what Avengers should have been. But instead, they had to go for the money thing and go, hey, look, you can play with your friends. I wanted to do this on my own. I wanted the Avengers to be with me, and we do this fight together. That's my issue with the Avengers. It should have not been a multiplayer game. It should have been a single player game. But that gets away from our movie topics. That's just me being upset with everybody for as long as they've been working on this project and they get to this point, and the reaction to people when they said it's continuous multiplayer at the conference was like this. Um, what do you mean it's multiplayer? That's not what I asked for, but thank you. So I feel like they're also, even if they got Robert Downey Jr. and everybody, I feel like they'd be wasting them on a multiplayer game where you probably barely see Iron Man, barely see Cap, barely see Bruce because they're going to be in a hub world while you and your other characters go
Okay,
off and do your own thing and you barely
so
talk to them.
so I googled it because I was curious. I've yet to hear anything about this. Of course, I didn't really look at anything past the initial release trailer. The only thing I did more research into is Cyberpunk because that was I think the thing that won the night or won E3 was Cyberpunk.
It's game
Uh,
of show. It's game of show.
yeah. So Games Radar, which I don't know how sourceable the source is, as I don't really use it
They're
very,
reputable.
but I'm
I
assuming they're
I
reputable.
read them daily.
Yeah, they were top news. It says its headline is you can't play the Marvel's Avengers campaign with your friends. It's single player only. Marvel's Avengers might be a co-op game at heart, but its main campaign is a solo only endure. The Marvel's Adventure reveal has been a little, shall we say, messy. Following its appearance at Square Enix E3 2019 press conference, it still wasn't exactly clear what sort of game it actually was. Now we know the game has a core single-player storyline that you'll be playing alone, jumping between different Avengers automatically as the story and action necessitates in it. Crystal Dynamics is best known for its work on Tomb Raider franchise, has crafted a traditional single-player experience. Hold on, I lost where I was going with this. Now we know the core game is going to be.
So then why?
Hold on, I'm getting there. I'm trying to figure out. The game will indeed feature a 4-player co-op, though. As you push through the campaign, you unlock extra side missions, and it's here where the co-op operative elements of the game will be introduced. In these missions, you'll be able to choose which Avenger you want to play as before then jumping up with your friends to tackle the objective. It's also been confirmed that if you aren't interested in multiplayer, you can indeed play the entire campaign and these optional side missions offline should you want to. So it's a single player. It's not just a multiplayer. They did bad press.
But then, but then here's my big thing is though, is that all these characters are you're supposed to add more characters to the game. So are the characters only for the multiplayer stuff, or is it for single player too?
My
Because
guess,
it'd be
well,
kind of shitty if
see, my understanding, from what I understood here, quite blankly, from what this particular article had told me, is that there's going to be missions and stuff throughout that you unlock, and that's where you can choose whatever, like the solo core campaign, you'll be jumping from Avenger that's important. Like, you know how the trailer was jumping between Hulk and Iron Man in different sequences and different things that were important to the story? That's my best guess how it's going to be playing
yeah,
through. And then as you go deeper and deeper into the story, there's going to be missions that are going to be pulled off to the corner where you can play as any Avenger as you desire. And I'm assuming this is where the new Avengers, so let's say Ant-Man or whatever they add in, who are not part of the core mission, core gameplay, core campaign, you can play with them over here, but you don't have to play online with friends if you don't want to. That's the way they say you should play it, but you don't have to.
It's just they're being so vague about it, and I wish they'd be up front and tell us what it is, because like even that, as Games Radar is very reputable, that could be not true too. It's just Square Enix and them are not talking about it. And
that was Square Enix. That was a direct quote from Square Enix Press.
Okay.
The solo campaign part, the multiplayer part was not. That was something else. Somebody else, like it was a direct quote from something else. But the solo campaign was a direct quote from EA. Not EA. Square Enix Press. So there is a campaign here that will be playable just by yourself, that I'm guessing are going to be between 20 and 25 hours long, as that's normally about the length of a Tomb Raider game, and I don't think they're going to spend more time than that in this world. Now, that's not saying that there could be a totally different online multiplayer mode. You know what I mean? Because obviously, as we know from Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto, for Rockstar, you can build a whole world outside of your main world as a totally new story and let all your friends play with you. Which is cool. It's also like nerve-wracking.
Which I would be fine with that. Yeah, if they do like the Avengers campaign and then Avengers Online, that's fine. Just don't make the online thing part of the campaign.
And like, and that's what I mean. That's why they said the mission, you can play offline or you can play online with your friends. It's completely up to you. It's more of like a your choice thing, not like a mandatory. You have to play these missions with 4 other people, which I like. I like that because that's one of my biggest factors about Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Online is that you have to play with other people. There are certain missions you have to play, and I'm just like, I want to play the story by myself. Why can't I play this by myself? You know. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I think that was a good podcast.
All right. So,
did we go on longer than you thought?
Yeah, we did. We went on for like 10 more minutes than I thought we would. But that's okay. If you guys enjoy this video, do all the fun YouTube things that you like to do, such as subscribe, comment, and all those fun things. I'm of course Jacob is here from the YouTube channel. Jacob is here, obviously, and it's gonna be linked above. Probably not. I keep forgetting to do cards. It's gonna be linked down below, no matter what. And you can always I do SimsTube and BookTube. I also want to shout out that I do stream Monday through Friday, and I stream a variety of games. It's not just Sims. It's just a whole bunch of different things, and that's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Follow me, Notified. Your turn.
I am RZ Jones 18. Make sure to guys check out my channel. Like we were discussing with Avengers, for the next couple of months leading to the Avengers release, I'll be updating regularly on what's going on with the game. And I want to let you guys know, we just talked about it. The trailer reactions and movie reviews are going to be a little bit different. I'll be editing my own reviews and reactions, so I'll let you guys know when they go up. And, so we're going to decide to do that because, the man right here does so much for the channel, and I hate the fact that he puts all that bearing on him. So I'm going to help with it. Now, like you said, the Batman vs. TMNT review will be going up sometime in the near future. However, my first review that I'll be editing is Toy Story 4. I'll be seeing it next week, and I have my buddy with me, and my buddy will have a buddy, and we're going to go see the movie. And I'm really excited.
And of course, something I do want to shout out. And is there anything else you want to say before I interrupt you again? Sorry.
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, for me, just like we did talk about, what he's mentioning here in particular is that I do a lot. I practically have 3 YouTube channels in a way, shape, or form. I have a SimsTube, I have a BookTube, and then I have movies with him. And I tend to do editing for the whole board, which is fine 90% of the time, but I'm extremely backed up for like the next 3 months. And so I can't really be on top of my game, and so I'm teaching him. And so Zachary, he's going to be doing movie reviews and show reactions. He's going to edit his own. Whereas I'm still going to be doing both of those things because we like seeing different movies and different things like that, and liking different trailers and different things. But I also have a TV reaction schedule going up. So my TV reaction schedule is going to be Mondays. We have 2 TV shows planned on. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We'll see how it goes. But right now it's Big Ol' Lies. Episode 1. It's up. You can watch it. It's doing quite well, to be honest with you. Much better than I thought it was going to be. There's not such a niche audience. Then also Euphoria, which starts on Sunday at 10. I'm going to try to react to it. We'll see how long it is. It will all depend on if I have time or not to do so.
That's the Zendaya one, right?
Yeah, it's Zendaya. And then also on Wednesdays, we're reacting to The 100 Season 6. I'm very, very behind on this season, but I've heard nothing but grave reviews, and so I'm very excited. And then on Fridays, we're going to be reacting to Younger Season 6, as it just started, and my reaction to it will go up tomorrow, because I saw it today. So, that's it.
Now, I have something to add, and I want to do something special with it, because we've watched the other 2. I think sometime in July, in honor of it coming out, we don't have to do it the weekend it comes out. I think sometime you and I, either I need to come there or you need to come here, and we together need to do a reaction to Stranger Things.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't want to just do it by myself. I want to do it with you, and if we can get Peyton in on it too, I think that'd be cool. Because it's, well, I think Dad might.
I don't know. Dad's kind of camera shy, but I could maybe.
I definitely want to do that though with Stranger Things.
And that will be episodic as well, as more than likely, because, see, I was having a problem with Jessica Jones Season 3, if I was going to, like, I like to binge watch these TV shows, because we get them at once, whereas all the TV shows I just mentioned to you, we're getting them, kind of weekly or whatever, and so I put them on a weekly schedule, and so I wasn't really sure what we should do with the binge-worthy ones, and that's the same thing, as that more than likely he'll show up for a weekend, we'll watch all 8 episodes when they drop, during that weekend that he's here, during whatever days, work-wise or whatever, that he's here, and then the episodes will go up over the next, 8 weeks or so. Probably I'll just put in a date here, I'm going to edit here, type thing, maybe 2, because we binge-watched it, or whatever. Jessica Jones Season 3 is still up in the air, I'm still not on it yet, I have 4 episodes left of Season 2, so I will let y'all keep you posted if I ever do anything with it. I might not, I might want to watch it by myself. It just matters.
Fair.
But I think that's it.
Alright, guys, well then we will see you next week for podcast number 4.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think we'll have Batman news next week, and also if DC is getting taken over by Warner Bros. Media. So, both those stories,
hints.
Yeah, both those stories are supposed to be dropping, in which I did want to talk to you about Batman, but we'll talk about it off camera, because I got some information that I don't know if you know about. Alright, I will see you guys. Yeah. Bye. Thank you for watching. I'll try to get the audio version up this week. I just didn't have time to edit it last time, but it should be up this time. So, yeah. Cool.
Alright, bye guys.
Bye.